Tony Lambraia here from UTM, Ultimate Training Munitions. I want to talk to you a little bit about how you can set up certain drills. One of the biggest benefits for UTM is that you can train 360 degrees. Now obviously we're on a range right now, we're outdoors, but we can set this just up anywhere we want to. If we have an open area somewhere, good to go. It doesn't have to be live fire. Obviously UTM has a very shorter range, so it should be fine. But let me tell you a little bit about how we set it up and why we set it up. What we want to do is, it's actually, you've worked a box drill before where, you're just walking to the first one, then you move to the second one, then you back up to the third, and you move to the fourth. Okay, you can do those on the live fire range, but the problem is everything's very linear and you're shooting in one direction. So what we want to do is we want to actually be 360 degrees. Now let's talk a little bit about the targets and how we set this up. We put 4 barrels out. Those are going to signify the 4 corners where we're going to be doing the drills, but I did offset them just slightly, and you'll see when we actually start doing the drill why that is. But now you look around the targets, we've got targets scattered all throughout. They're not perfectly straight up and down. They're actually angled because you don't want people to get so caught up in the fact that it's all linear. Everything's perfectly straight when you put them in there. No, you should make them a little angled. You should turn the targets to the side so they almost have to change their direction in order to be able to get a shot, or they get used to shooting somebody on an angle. So there's a lot of ways you set it up. I put double-digit numbers on here like we do in a lot of our drills. You can use anything you want, how you want to do it, colors, balloons, or whatever, to identify the targets. In addition to that, the numbers, the double-digit numbers, I also have a circle with double X on it, obviously a no-shoot target. And then another one we have is a square with a C in it, which is a challenge target. So if I call the number as the instructor and I say 22 has a challenge on it, that means you don't shoot it. You call police, get on the ground, don't move, whatever your commands are, you give them those commands. And then when it's time to move off, you move off. So it's just a really quick drill that you can set up. Now we can actually add a role player into this. So now you leave the exact same thing where people are floating around, they're running, they're gunning, and they're doing this. And we're going to start with 1 person, and we can add 2. We can even go up to 3 people doing this drill at the same time. Now they're having to watch each other. So you can do that with the role player. You have the role player floating in and out as an innocent. Or if they draw the gun and fire their blanks, then they're fair game, and then the officers can shoot at them. So this is kind of a 360 numbers drill along with kind of a modified box drill. So let's go ahead and try it out. You'll see a little bit on how it works, and we'll talk a little bit more at the end. Move. 14. Move. 25. Move. 55. 38. 11. 22.
Please get on the ground, get on the ground.
14. Move. 25. 38. Move. 10. 14. 11. 23. 38. Move. 38. Very good. All right, so the next iteration, what we're going to do now is I'm going to add 2 people. So I'm going to actually do it with Rob. So we're going to run the drill. And I'm going to be calling the numbers at the same time as we're going. So you can almost simulate, and we can switch off where he's calling a threat, I'm calling a threat. So it's almost as if we were searching right now for maybe active shooter or something, and I'm calling out the threat. So if I see 38 or I see gun on 38, I actually engage, and then he either covers me, engages the same target, or he can actually take my 6. Whichever way it works out, because we want to make sure that we're always covering 360. If we're both able to shoot on a target, good to go. If we're not, and I don't have a clear shot, my partner's way in front of me and he's already getting that handled, then I'll cover his back. So we just kind of work from there and working the box drill as we did before with the cover. Move. 25. Move. 38. 55. Move. 14. 55. 22. Police, get on the ground, Move. 25, gun. Move. 14, 14. Move. 22. Get on the ground, please, get on the ground. 55. Move. Move. 25. Ceasefire. All right, guys. So you saw it with two people. Now we can add a third person in here. We can have an independent person calling it out. We can vary who's calling the threats. We can have guns, knives, whatever we want on the targets. There's a lot of ways to vary this up. Remember, the next phase of it could actually be your role players. And the role players will do nothing but float in and out of the targets. They can draw the gun whenever they're close, and then they'll have to engage them. They have to watch for muzzling their partners. Just gives you a 360 environment. Remember, UTM is not linear and static. It's not like live fire. You don't have the same limitations. So use it appropriately. Train safe.